That's a problem in gardening, ladies and gentlemen. It's like raising children then having to kill them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, John Masters here. I believe that it is June 3rd. So I thought it might be a good day to do a garden tour. It's not really the garden, it's the yard. It's big. That's the backyard. So we can do a yard tour. All right, so something that I just finished up with is I had a chip drop done. So I've got all new wood chips down. I'll post up a video about that. I didn't do a video about this current drop, but I do the same thing with all of them. I've done that about 5 times, and it's pretty big. It's about 20 yards. So you can see in the yard where they dropped it. I meant for it to be dropped on the pad, but they got it a little bit early. I think I got a picture of that. Of course, if you've never been to my house, you know everything's red. Not when you get inside. When you get inside, nothing's red. But outside, everything's red. So there's the house. Now, where shall we start? We'll start over here. All right, well, check this out. Okay, this right here, that's I believe it was a Paulina tomentosa, something like that. So that I transplanted out of the backyard. And as you'll notice, you'll see another one. There's another one right there. Some people don't like those. There's a couple of them around. They're all real tall and straight, just like that, just like that. So I transplanted that up here because I've got a pit. This big pit, it used to be a storm shelter. Well, you don't want to accidentally drive your car into this thing. So you don't want to go over there. So I'm using this plant to mark the pit. All right. Okay, so. And we'll look at some other stuff like that. Some other, I have done a lot of transplanting of plants and actually some invasives from the back to the front. I'll show you why I would do that. All right, so I need to thin these. These are the cantaloupes, so they need to be thinned out. What I think I'll do is I think I'm going to pull one and then grow it in a container and see what happens. And then I'll thin these out to where I probably only will have 2 right here, 2 or 3, I guess. And then we got watermelons. Now, I don't think the watermelons are looking as good. This is my first year growing any of this stuff, by the way. So, I'm new at all of it. So, we got the watermelons, and they're certainly not looking as robust as the cantaloupes over there. So, I'll have to figure that out. I don't know a lot. Under there is the beautiful RX-7. I'll post up a playlist for RX-7 stuff in case you got one. Okay. Up here, I believe it's the canna lily. It's easy to get those confused. Actually, we better go up here. Man, check that thing out. All right, so that's it. You got the lily plus these are some marigolds I started from seed here. All this stuff takes forever, people. If you're new to this, get ready to be in a hurry, to be patient, all right? Because those have been going a while, but they're looking good. Over here we've got mint. Okay, so here we got mint, which is looking pretty good. I got a bunch of them so I can put them wherever I want around in the yard. I forgot that I left a rosemary here accidentally. That is a sweet pea. So I'm going to trellis that up the fence there. And then these are zinnias. So those are popping up pretty good. Zinnias. All right. And let's see. All right. Okay, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I no longer use power mowers. Haven't for at least 6 months. I do this entire property. I've got a couple of these reel mowers. So I've got a Scott's. I've got two Scott's. I'll show you the other one over there. So I've got a 16 and a 21. The 16 will go down to 0.5 inches and this will go down to 1.5 inches. So I do this part of the yard with the 21. Okay. I do that part back there with the 16. And then on the other side of the house, I do with the 16. Because I want to be able to find golf balls in those parts of the yard. Okay, so here we are. Okay, these are ferns which I transplanted from a rental property that we have back over there somewhere that I worked on for about a month. So they had some ferns. Check this out. This is what's cool. I don't know anything about ferns, but what I do know is when you transplant them, this is all 100% new growth, okay? So what happened is I transplanted something like that. That's old growth. And then after I just kind of started taking care of it, new ones start popping up. Bam, bam. I'm not sure when you can cut those off, but after a while, it's all new. And I've basically cut all the old growth off. So that's the best one so far. I've transplanted all these nandinas from the back. Okay. A lot of people are gonna not like that because that's Nandina domestica, so it's invasive. A lot of people don't consider it invasive though. So the deal is, I don't have a lot of money to do all this. So I'm having to do transplants and seeds. But you'll notice okay, this area of the yard right here, my cost, other than time and this, and before this was there was nothing. There was no plantings whatsoever. My cost in money here is literally under $5 because I did pay for the seeds over here. I bought the seeds. So here we got some romaine lettuce. Needs to be thinned, way too thick, needs to be thinned. That's a problem in gardening, ladies and gentlemen. It's like raising children and then having to kill them. Okay, so okay, here's a mistake. So this is two different types of sweet corn. I don't believe you're supposed to do that. I believe you're supposed to plant one type because these things self-pollinate. So I don't think I was supposed to put one type over there and a different type over here, but we're gonna see what happens. And then these are beans. They're bush beans. Okay, so I'm not doing the three sisters here. It kind of came close, but not exactly. So I got two of the sisters, but they're living next to each other instead of with each other. So it's kind of a dysfunctional Indian family we got, Native American, sorry. So I will do the three sisters soon. The problem is with the three sisters, the third sister, she takes up a lot of space. So we weren't doing that. All right, so over here we got a few more morning glories. I'm gonna train those up this thing. And more zinnias. Now those are looking pretty good. All that is, that's an actual pot, okay? Now I know it sounds funny to say that, okay, but if we come over here, I got a clematis, okay? This is sort of what I would consider the first plant that's sort of satisfying my British gardening need. So it's a clematis. My objective here is that I'm going to have this, and I've got a picture of that in bloom about a week ago. Trained all over that thing. So that it looks like that's in bloom. All right, now I planted all this. These are all transplants from the backyard, okay? It's just a bunch of different stuff, so I don't even know what all of it is. All right, when we go over here, we've got, all right, a lot of people don't know, this tree right here has been cursed by God. Apparently this is the same type of wood that the cross was made of that Jesus got hung on. So that is a flowering pink dogwood. So God cursed this tree to never be straight and never be big. And look at it, isn't that funny? It's got a curve in it. So this tree has been affected by the curse, which I'm happy by. I'm happy about it. All right, now check out this. I acquired this from a different rental property. Let's not even talk about that one. Okay, however, I named this after my late uncle George Masters, who recently passed away. And by the way, I just recently realized he had a street named after him down on the south side. So now he's got a banana plant named after him. So meet George Masters. The reason I named that banana plant George Masters is because I transplanted it. I transplanted that out of George Masters' grandson, Michael Young's yard while I was working at it over there the day after the funeral. So I cut that pup off of the mother plant over there and transplanted it, brought it over here, and look how good it's doing. Isn't that awesome? So when I transplanted it, I just cut it down to about right there. At first I had that planted where the magnolia is, but then I bought that magnolia for 15 bucks. So, all right, so now let's go over here. I need to wrap it up. My hand's hurting. Did we have a look at the yard? Okay, and then one of the videos that I need to do is about how I keep the grass and do not use any power equipment. Hey, I say that and then look. There's the tiller. Got to use that every now and then. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something funny. If you're into gardening and you start looking at gardening videos, you're definitely going to come across what's called no-till videos. You want me to tell you what the funniest thing about the no-till gardening industry is? Guess what the very first thing every single one of them does in their no-till video? The very first thing they do is they till. So the number one rule in no-till gardening is that the first thing you do is till the garden. So, over here at this garden, we don't participate in any stupid nonsense. We just take care of business and we do it the way you're supposed to. This property is talking to me and I'm listening. But I'm telling you what, I'll tell you who I ain't listening to. All the hacks on YouTube that are making 11 cents every 12,000 videos, just like me. So my number one rule is don't take me too seriously. Okay, so over here for $1, I picked these up, these 2 lavender plants. I think this one had turned over on its side. Can you believe that? Those are all totally brown, so I just cut the brown out and then repotted them. Set them out here in the full sun and then have stopped watering them. These things don't want a lot of water. Okay, over here, here's where I've had some failure. I've literally planted 2 packs of zinnia seeds over here, but that was in the beginning. And I've only got, I think these are zinnias. These 2 things, I think. Out of 2 packs, that's all I've gotten. So I've changed how I'm doing. I've changed how I'm populating the garden here. That right there is a Greg's mist flower. Okay, sorry. I think that's a blue mist flower. I believe a Greg's mist flower is different than a blue mist flower. I wish it was a Greg's mist flower because guess what? The late son of George Masters over the banana plant would be Greg Masters because he passed away quite a long time ago. So, sorry, blah, blah, blah. Shasta Daisy. Another thing that was on the bad plants aisle at Walmart. Over there, sometimes you can get them for $1. It was totally brown and nasty. I cut all the brown and nasty out. It's been there for about a week, and pow, look at it. All right. More of the mist flower. That's a weed. Okay. Zinnia. How about this one? I found a pot over at one of the rental houses. Underneath an entire pile of garbage. I'm not joking. Okay, so it was this plant right here, but there was nothing in the pot. It was just the pot. Nothing had grown. So I pulled it out from under the pile of garbage, set it on my porch, and within a couple of weeks, that started sprouting up. And not only that, it was so big, I divided it into fourths. So I got one here, one there, and one over there. I think I made a mistake. I cut it because it was hanging over and touching the ground. I don't know what it is, but check this out. It's revealing itself. I still don't know what that is. So I don't know how, I can't identify that as I'm looking at it, but that someone will see the video and go, yeah, we know what that is. All right, transplanted that. I like this mist flower because it attracts butterflies. Let's see, this is Veronica. It's doing okay, but it's a little bit brown. That's some kind of rubber plant right there. Got that out of the yard of a rental house. As it turns out, yanking stuff from rental house yards ain't bad. All right, now here, this is interesting. I got 2 cyclamens. This one is, I bought them both at the same time. That one I kept and I've been taking care of. That one I gave to my mother for some occasion last year. I don't remember what the occasion was. Okay, now she brought it back over the other day. I don't know if I took a picture, but boy, it was looking sorry. Now it looks interesting now. See, there's more pink in those stems, and they're really standing up, but it hasn't turned real green yet. These are awesome. These cyclamen are awesome. I love that. For some reason, I love that plant. I don't know why it is. Okay, I'll tell you another one I love. I love that one because that thing, when you do that just, you can start to smell it immediately. You don't even have to do that. The wind blows and it goes in the house. All right, so, okay, this is, I can't remember. It's that little short stuff that goes along the ground. Elysium, something like that. So these I planted from seed right here. Okay. Those, okay, the zinnias, which I also have over here. Okay, here's how I've done this. These I started in a tray, grew them for a couple weeks, and then I transplanted them out. Then I planted some zinnia seeds around with intermix. So that's from a seed, and that's a transplant. That's another marigold. You can see some of them are being eaten on, so I've got to figure that out. Hopefully they'll get big. Another mist flower. See, I don't think they like that haircut I gave them. I think that was a mistake. Some kind of ivy that I found growing in the yard, so I've left that alone. All right. I'm not sure if this, I thought this was a smart place to do the tomatoes when I put them here, but now the sun has shifted to where it's rising more over there, and I'm getting a little bit more of a shade over here. So like that one's looking pretty good. A couple of them are looking pretty miserable. They're cherry tomatoes. I tried to eat a cherry tomato the other day and I had to spit it out. I do not eat cherry tomatoes. So I'm gonna have to find someone to give these to if I'm successful. So anyway, just a little bed that I made against the house because I had that extra piece of wood laying over there. Used to be a railing on my porch. Another thing I can make a video of for some folks is how to deal with your tools. Your tools are a pain in the butt, so I've spent a long time working on tool organization, even though you can't really tell by looking. Okay, the reel mower. Now over here, I can't remember, I've got something going here. I can't remember if they're delphiniums. I'll have to look. I do not keep notes about all this, but I kept the seed packet somewhere. So these are the ones that get tall, and they're digitalis. So it's some kind of digitalis. All right. Okay, so over here, I got to work on this. It's rosemary. We got rosemary. Look, see that white stuff? That's something I got to look at. I can't tell what it is from here. See? That's one of those rosemary plants you see at Kroger on sale for $1.99. So I bought that a year ago. Then I took a bunch of cuttings, which is what all these are. These are all cuttings from that $2 plant from last year. There's two more over here. The problem with the the problem with the rosemary is that it takes forever. Okay, now here's what's funny. I'm successful here with cilantro, but I don't eat much with cilantro, so I haven't been cutting it enough. I need to cut it, but cilantro really seems to only be good when it's fresh. When you save it, it doesn't seem to be that good. Okay, that is a sunflower right there, I believe. Now what's interesting is these are zinnias too, I believe, but those are a little bit leggy, gotten a little long right there. So, okay, here we got green giants, arbovitas. So out of like 50 cuttings, I've only been successful with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another problem, like the rosemary, these have taken a year. And I mean, look at that. Look how the roots on these are still very small. They do have roots, but they're small. Zinnias. The zinnias aren't that hard to grow, people. Go ahead and start that if you're new, because they obviously, I'm having 100% success once I started doing them a certain way. Okay. Now this is interesting. Check this out. So you got the zinnias here, and you got a morning glory. I did not even do that. That thing just grew up and then went straight to that fence, which is what I was planning for it to do. See, the problem with the morning glory is, for some people, those are invasive. That's why I've got that in a pot. All right, so over here, I believe it's 2 types of cucumbers. People that know gardening will be able to identify stuff better than I do. I'm just good at getting things started and actually doing it, but knowing what I'm doing, that comes later. So we got knee-high sweet peas. I've decided not to trellis those. I meant to plant those closer to the fence. Okay, another rule, people, if you're going to trellis something over a fence, you got to plant it close to the fence. That's a rule. So I believe I'm going to have to thin out cucumbers. I believe these are peas, I think. So I think peas are a bush. So that's it for that. I planted some other stuff there, but I don't think it's coming up. I planted some Johnny jump ups, which are in the viola family. So I think that's a pretty good tour of the garden. Yeah, we're just back over here where we started, to the back side of the property. So that's a project, and that is the project. So my objective here is I'm going to turn this whole thing into a big park. So when you come over here, it's like you went to a public park. So, and what's amazing is that this place used to be totally overgrown, like just like that. See how that is right there? This entire property used to be just like that tree. You couldn't even see any of that. You couldn't see any of that sunlight or any of it. All right, so one more thing to look at is out here on the road. I'm not sure if it was obvious, but I live on a major road here. So that's why I'm trying to get all this plantings done here. Before, my fence came up to about where the rock is, and before that there was no fence at all. So that part of the yard used to be a total waste, but now it's one of the best parts of the yard. All right, so out here, okay, this is not what we're coming to look at, but the green giants, I planted those several years ago. I had another one over here that something happened to. I tried to save it, but it died. Now I'm sure I could save it. That was back before I knew a damn thing. Okay, look at those. Man, those are awesome. Just had some tree work done here on this tree. You can tell the top is gone, and this whole area got basically sort of decimated, so I got to work over there. All right, this is what I'm looking at. This is what I want to look at out here. All right, so basically, as far as I know, these are all privets. So I've transplanted about 30 privet so that I can make myself a hedgerow here. And they all seem to be doing pretty good. Let's see. There were a couple I thought that were, well, those I thought were looking a little sorry, but those look all right. Actually, they all look pretty good. So I'm probably going to put some kind of morning glory or something right there to grow up the tree, and then I'll put something a little bigger right here. All right, so that's it. So we'll keep an eye on the progress of these. I did all this probably a month or two ago when the weather was cooler. Privets don't seem to transplant too good when it gets hot. So anyway, there's the yard. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's early. I haven't looked in the mirror in 4 months. So anyway, that's the garden tour. And what we'll do is we'll come back in about a month, and then we'll come back in about a month and then see what's changed. So thumbs up and sweet dreams, ladies and gentlemen.